Conscious Breath. My name is Eddie Stern, and today we will be carrying forward into our exploration of pranayama, which are the ancient practices of controlling respiration taught by the yogis. So last week we were discussing the 5 elements in relation to the different breathing practices, as well as to lifestyle habits. And this week we are going to move on to a type of practice that we haven't done so far. And this is the very, very key, crucial, important elements of bandhas and mudras. So in the yogic systems, we have different categorizations and classifications of practices. One of the classifications of practices that many people are familiar with are the practice of asanas. And we know that the asanas are good for the body, and they're good for increasing our strength, our flexibility, our mobility, our sense of proprioception, where we exist in space, our sense of interoception, what's happening within our organ systems and within the body. So these are some of the things that are happening within the practice of asanas, as well as encouraging the healthy communication between nervous system and neuromuscular system, etc., etc. When we move on to the pranayama practices, which include breathing and breath holds, then we're working on a deeper level of our nervous system in regards to how respiration functions and how the body communicates with respiratory changes. And so far what we have covered with our breathing practices are things that are primarily affecting the diaphragm and the abdomen and things like that. So for example, we've done abdominal breathing where the belly has come in and gone out. We've done rib breathing, and we're going to do all these today again, where the ribs go out and come back in. We've done breath where we focused on making a whispering sound in the throat. So all of these levels are affecting things that are kind of from about the navel upwards. And today we're going to work on practices that are from the navel downwards. So when we do the breathing practices where, say, we have a hissing sound in the throat, or we're controlling the length of the breath, we're largely working with the way that we're consciously dictating the flow of breath from the brain down through the body. So we're affecting sort of this region up here. And when we're doing Kapalabhati or extended breathing, we're affecting, this region around this area here. But we also have very important nerves that are coming out from the sacrum and innervating the entire pelvic floor. And we haven't done any practices yet that are targeting the innervation and the health of the nerves and the muscles in the pelvic floor. And today, that is what we are going to do. Okay, so let's go ahead now and start with the preparatory practices that we do each week. And then we're going to do something a little bit different today, which is we're going to do a couple of very simple yogic poses to help with the lower body practices we're going to do. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and sit comfortably. You can be in a chair. You can be on the floor, on a pillow. You can be on a bed. Anything which is comfortable for you. And the first practice we're going to do, I'm going to move back slightly, is the practice of the abdominal breathing. So to do this, you're going to put one hand on your belly, in the lower belly near the belly button, and another right on top of it. And you're going to rest your belly out into your hands. And inhale. So now I'm not going to move my hands. But as I exhale, I'm going to pull my belly away from my hands back towards my spine. When I inhale, I'm going to relax my belly out into my hands. And as I exhale, I'm going to pull the belly away from the hands. Okay, don't worry, you're not late, we're just getting started. Inhale, let the belly relax out into your hands. Exhale, pull the belly away from your hands, but don't move the hands. The only thing moving is the belly. Inhale, relax your belly into your hands. Exhale, pull the belly in towards the spine, pulling your belly away from your hands. Inhale, relax your belly into your hands. Exhale, pull your belly away from your hands, back in towards your spine. Do this 1 or 2 times on your own. So your hands are not moving. Only the belly is moving a little. That's all. This is to notice the shape change that your body makes when you breathe. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the second one where we bring our hands onto our ribs. You can place your hands either on the sides of your hands or the palms of your hands. Now we're going to focus on the expansion of the diaphragm. So when you inhale, your ribs are going to go out into your hands. And when you exhale, the ribs are going to come back in. So you're trying to move your ribs now like the wings of a bird as you breathe. Inhale, the ribs come out into your hands. And exhale, the ribs come back in. We're going to do this for a minute or two. So now the movement of the diaphragm as it comes out like this, expanding to the side as I inhale, and contracting in like this as I exhale. That's the movement. It's like you're breathing into the bottom of your lungs. Breathing into the bottom of the ribs. Very smooth, very calm. Feeling the shape change in the body as you breathe. And the next exhale, relax the ribs and relax your hands down. So now we've done belly breathing, we've done rib breathing, and now we're going to do throat breathing. And for the throat breathing, we're going to make the humming sound in the back of the throat as we breathe. This is stimulating for the vagus nerve, and it also energizes the palate of the mouth. And the palate of the mouth is very close to important brain structures. So when we make this humming sound, you're going to inhale through both nostrils and exhale, make a humming sound way in the back of your throat. Not at the lips, but in the back of the throat, like you're saying the word king or ring. Okay, we'll do this for a few times. Inhale a breath. And exhale going. Doesn't matter how long the sound is going to last for. Just make it smooth and even. Excuse me. You can also, if you like, close your ears as you make the humming sound, and you'll feel more vibration inside the head. Inhaling. This is also sometimes done, more often than not, with your thumbs in your ears and the fingers over the eyes. Try a few more. Inhaling. One more. relax the hands down and breathe. Okay, so this humming pranayama called Brahmhari is it's massaging for the brain, and it's also soothing for the heart, for blood pressure and for heart rate variability. Okay, now we're going to do one more preparatory practice, which is the very high nasal breathing. And for this one, you're going to imagine that you're smelling the scent of a rose or your favorite scent as you inhale. So your awareness goes high towards the olfactory nerves. And then when you exhale, keep your awareness high up near those nerves. Okay? So inhale, imagine you're smelling the scent of any flower or your favorite scent. And as you exhale, keep your awareness high in the nasal cavity. Inhaling high into the nasal cavity. Exhaling high in the nasal cavity. Imagining your favorite smell, breathing it in high into the nose. This is helpful for naturally elongating the breath and as well stimulating brain structures relating to memory and states of consciousness. Okay, now just relax the breathing and sit quietly for a moment. Okay. So, for the preparatory practices, the ones that we do each week and that we just completed, we've stimulated the abdominal region of breathing, the diaphragm muscle at the ribs, the vagus nerve at the throat, and the organ of respiration, which is our nose. So we've gone through many different parts of the body that all take part in the breathing process. So the practice we're going to do today is called Ashwini mudra. We're going to do Ashwini mudra and something called Mula Bandha. Ashwini is symbolizes or means a horse, and the Ashwini mudra is the contraction and release of the anal sphincter muscle. We have two anal sphincters. We have a internal anal sphincter and an external anal sphincter. And both of these sphincters are innervated and controlled by the sympathetic nervous system, keeping them in a state of contraction throughout the day. They need to be in a state of contraction throughout the day so stuff doesn't fall out from them. It's only when we go to the bathroom that these muscles relax so that waste can pass out. And what we're doing with these particular exercises we are applying a purposeful contraction on top of the contraction which is already contained in the sphincters. And that sends a chain of messages up through the nerves that connect the pelvic floor to the abdomen, that connect them to the heart through the vagus nerve. So it slows and controls the heart rate as well. It has a beneficial effect on blood pressure as well as heart rate variability. Most importantly, we have become a very sedentary type of race. We sit in front of computers, or we're sitting in chairs for long periods during the day, or we're driving cars throughout the day. We spend a lot of time sitting down. And so the muscles in the abdominal region all the way into the pelvic floor, they become weakened because we're not using them a lot due to our sedentary lifestyle. So, and what happens is the strength of these muscles begin to weaken over time. So the motility, the ability to move waste through the intestines and out of the body becomes weakened, and we have problems like either constipation or not full evacuation of stools. We have problems with passing urine and things like that. A lot of these things come because we lose the tone of these muscles in the lower abdomen and in the pelvic floor. And it's important to keep these muscles strong, especially as we begin to age, and especially if we want full elimination of waste. It's important for these muscles to be toned. So we're going to work on that today. And then there's one other thing as well, is that we've been talking about prana a lot the past 8 classes because the practices we're doing are called pranayama. Prana means vital energy. Ayama means to lengthen, expand, or make more full. And so we're expanding our prana, increasing our vital energy through these practices. We also talked about the 5 different pranas. And one of the pranas is called prana, which is related to our inhalation and the incoming nourishment. And then our exhalation and outgoing waste is related to apana. And by practicing Ashwini mudra and by practicing Mula Bandha, we are strengthening the apana vayu in our bodies and balancing it and grounding it. And this is very important because we lose a lot of energy through the lower parts of our body. And when it comes to yoga and expanding and increasing our vitality, we need to make sure that we are not losing energy. And so in the yogic teachings, Ashwini mudra, Mula Bandha are important practices for making sure that we maintain our levels of vitality and that this downward moving energy doesn't overtake us. Okay? So let's please lie on our backs, and I'm going to lie on my back with you, and we're going to, along with you that is, and we're going to go through these practices very simply. So please lie on your back, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor, and rest your hands so your palms are facing up. If you like, you can rest your hands on your belly. Either one is fine. The practice of Ashwini mudra, as I said, is the contraction of your external anal sphincter. So if you've ever seen a horse defecate, after the horse is defecating, they push and contract their external anal sphincter in and out a few times to clear the feces that they've passed. So if you just bring your awareness to the anal sphincter, and you can lift the anal sphincter as though you were resisting a defecation and then relaxing it. And then lift and relax, lift and relax. And this is basically Ashwini mudra and all there is to it. Now, Ashwini mudra is also done in combination with breathing. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale and hold the breath in for about 3 seconds, not too long. While we hold the breath in, we're going to do Ashwini mudra. And then we're going to exhale the breath, hold the breath out, and again do Ashwini mudra. And we're going to do this 5 times, okay? So, please hold your questions until the end of class because since I'm lying down, I won't be able to see them now. So let's please inhale, hold the breath in, and lift the anal sphincter. And now relax and exhale the breath. Hold the breath out and lift your anal sphincter. Relax and inhale. Hold the breath in and lift the anal sphincter. And relax and exhale. Lift the anal sphincter now, holding your breath out. Relax your anal sphincter and inhale. Hold your breath in and lift your sphincter. Relax the sphincter and exhale. And now I'm just going to use the Sanskrit name. Hold your breath out and do Ashwini mudra, lifting the sphincter. Relax Ashwini mudra and inhale. Hold the breath in, do Ashwini mudra. Relax Ashwini mudra and exhale. This is our last one. Hold your breath out and do Ashwini mudra. Now relax and breathe. Okay. Please bend your right knee in towards your chest. Interlace your hands around your knee and stretch your left leg out on the floor. If for any reason that's uncomfortable, stretching your leg on the floor, you can keep your left knee bent. And if you can't grab hold of your knee, just hold on a little bit behind your thigh. Or you can also hold a t-shirt around your knee to pull the knee in close. This is called Pavana Muktasana. Pavana means wind or air, and Mukta means release or free. So this is the wind releasing pose. We're going to do Ashwini mudra again in this position. Inhale a breath. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale. And do Ashwini mudra. Relax the mudra, inhale. Hold the breath in, do Ashwini mudra. Exhale. Ashwini mudra. Inhale. Ashwini mudra. Exhale. Ashwini mudra. Relax and breathe. Now we're going to change legs. Bend the left knee in and straighten the right leg out. Again, if you want to keep the right knee bent so the foot is flat on the floor, that's okay. Inhale. Hold the breath in and do Ashwini mudra. Exhale. Hold your breath out and do Ashwini mudra. Inhale. Hold the breath in, do Ashwini mudra. Exhale. Hold the breath out and do Ashwini mudra. Inhale. Hold the breath in, Ashwini mudra. Exhale. Hold the breath out and do Ashwini mudra. And relax and breathe and stretch your legs out the floor and rest lying flat on your back. Some people are not comfortable resting flat on the back. If you're one of those people, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. As well, if your neck feels uncomfortable, you can take a pillow and prop your head up under a pillow. Okay, now we're going to repeat the exercise, but we're going to change the breathing pattern. So with your feet flat on the floor, knees bent, hands facing up or on the belly, this is what we're going to do. Inhale a breath. And now do Ashwini mudra as you exhale. Hold the breath out and relax Ashwini mudra. And now tighten the anal sphincter as you inhale. A little bit trickier and a little bit of a strange feeling. Hold your breath in and relax Ashwini mudra. And now exhale and do Ashwini mudra. So you're only doing the mudra now while you breathe, okay? So when I hold the breath out, I just relax the body completely and I relax the mudra. And then before I inhale, I lift the anal sphincter and then I start to inhale. And then I hold the breath in and I relax. And then I lift the sphincter and I exhale. And then I relax and I hold my breath out. And then I lift the sphincter and I inhale. Relax as I hold the breath in. And exhale, breathe comfortably. Okay, so that one's a little trickier. It's just a reverse breathing pattern. So please put your hands flat on the floor. And on your next inhale, lift your hips a few inches up off the ground. Doesn't matter how high they go, just a few inches. Stay here and breathe. And now as you're breathing comfortably, begin to roll your spine onto the floor one vertebra at a time, imagining as though you're laying a wet piece of spaghetti onto the floor in a straight line. A wet piece of spaghetti in a straight line on a table. Laying your spine down little by little by little. And then after the lower back comes down, you relax and inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale here and do Ashwini mudra. And now slowly begin to lower your spine down, breathing comfortably. See if you can keep Ashwini mudra contracted. And as you maintain a steady contraction, this is called mula bandha. Lay the spine down little by little by little. And you might notice that your lower belly starts to suck in when you get to the halfway point. This is called Uddiyana Bandha. When you get all the way down onto your back, relax and breathe. And again, inhale, lift your hips up a few inches, as high as you comfortably would like to lift them. And now, inhale again, do Ashwini mudra, and then slowly lay your spine down, and just watch what happens as you lower down. Relax and breathe once you come all the way down. And we're going to try this with one other variation now. Okay, so this time, inhale and lift your hips. Stay here, do Ashwini mudra. Inhale. And now stay up, but exhale your breath. Hold your breath out and gently lower your spine one vertebra at a time. And you might notice while you hold your breath out, the lower belly sucks in even deeper. Breathe freely once you come down. And we'll try that one more time. You can also try to exhale the entire time that you're putting your spine on the floor. See how that feels as well. So here's our last one. Inhale the hips up. Do Ashwini mudra. And now exhale, in a long exhalation, lower your spine down. Extend the exhalation. Relax the spine and breathe. Please stretch your legs out on the floor. Do a lying down sun salutation. Inhale your arms over your head to the floor behind you. Spread the hands shoulder width apart. Breathe 3 times. Extend your exhalation. Use the Uddiyana Bandha of the lower belly and the Ashwini mudra and Mula Bandha of lifting the sphincters, especially at the end of your exhale. So you inhale, relax. Exhale slowly. Pull the lower belly in, lift the sphincters. And then hold that a little as you inhale. And exhale the arms down. Rest for a moment on your back. Then please bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. And then bend your knees in towards your chest. Put one hand on each kneecap. And this pose is called Apanasana. And this is really good for the pelvic floor area and for learning the bandhas. So when you exhale, pull your knees a little in towards your chest and pull your lower belly in below the navel. This is the Uddiyana Bandha. And as you inhale, let your arms come straight, still holding on to your knees so your feet are pointing towards the ground. Your lower back will arch and do the Ashwini mudra and Mula Bandha, lifting the internal anal sphincter. Exhale, bend the knees in towards the chest a little. Your lower back comes flat now and the lower belly comes in. And inhale, let the arms come straight. Your toes are reaching towards the floor. But don't let go of your knees, and do Ashwini mudra here and Mula Bandha. And then bend the knees in towards the chest, flattening your lower back, pulling the lower belly in. And then inhale, straighten the arms, let the knees fall away from you. Do Ashwini mudra here. Exhale, bend the knees in. Inhale the arms straight. And now exhale, let the feet come to the floor. Rest on your back for a moment and breathe. Okay, let's roll onto your side and then come up to sit and come back to a comfortable cross-legged position. Okay, so let's now go on to practicing this Ashwini mudra in a seated position. Okay, so sit comfortably. You can be in a chair, you can be on the floor, anything is fine. And now we have gravity, working against us because we're sitting upright. But we're going to do the same basic thing. We're going to inhale comfortably, hold the breath in only for 3 seconds and lift the anal sphincter. And then exhale, hold the breath out and lift the anal sphincter. Okay, now relax for a moment. The next exercise we're going to do is we're going to inhale and hold the breath in just for a few seconds, and then we're going to squeeze and release the anal sphincter 10 times. And this is another very traditional way of practicing Ashwini mudra. We're going to hold the breath in, pause for a few seconds, squeeze and release the anal sphincter 10 times. Okay, so let's try. Inhale, hold the breath in, squeeze and release 10 times. And then exhale the breath. And now let's try that on an exhalation retention. So we're going to inhale, we're going to exhale and hold the breath out and squeeze and release 10 times. So inhale. Exhale, hold your breath out, and squeeze and release the anal sphincter 10 times. Good. And then relax and breathe. So, some of you may find that it's easier to do this on an inhale. Some may find it's easier to do it on an exhale. Whichever one was easier for you, you are going to repeat. So for me, this is easier to do when I exhale my breath and do Ashwini mudra. Other people are more comfortable with the inhale. So do one more round on your own. Go ahead and begin inhaling. And either hold your breath in or exhale, and then do Ashwini mudra. The last time, squeeze the sphincter up, and then relax and breathe. Sit quietly for a moment and just see what you feel like. Okay, good. So this is our new practice for this week. Just like we need to exercise the muscles of the arms and the legs and the abdomen and the chest when we leave sedentary lifestyles, or even if we're just not moving enough, we need to exercise all these parts of our body. We also need to exercise the pelvic floor muscles. And that's what's occurring during this practice. Okay, so let's now move on to Kapalabhati, followed by alternate nostril breathing. We're going to do 2 rounds of Kapalabhati, and then after that, we're going to do a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. For everyone who's been joining this class for the past few sessions, you know that the Kapalabhati is the abdominal pumpings. So, and for those who are new to the class, I will demonstrate and show you what that looks like. So, yes, definitely charging the root chakra. So the abdominal pumping for Kapalabhati is where my chest stays straight and the head stays straight, and all I do is pump the abdomen in and out. So I try to keep everything else still, but you can see if I put my hands on my belly, this is an inhale, that's an exhale. And that's the Kapalabhati. The exhalation is quick. It's gentle, but it's quick, like you're trying to blow a candle out from your nose. And your inhalation is 3 times as long as the exhalation. So I exhale sharply, and then I inhale passively. Exhale energetically, inhale passively. So let's try that 10 times, and we will do 3 rounds of 10 pumpings. If that's not clear, just put a number 1 in the chat section and I'll try to explain it better. Okay? Exhalation followed by an inhalation. The inhalation is 3 times as long as the quick exhalation. Here we go. Inhale and begin. Long exhalation. Now inhale long, slow. Exhale long and slow. Inhale long and slow. Exhale long and slow. Okay. So another way of describing the movement of breath out from the nose in Kapalabhati is like if you're blowing your nose. So when you blow your nose, you keep your mouth closed and you blow out through your nose. That's all we're doing in this Kapalabhati. We're blowing out through the nose as we exhale, and then we relax as you inhale. We blow out through the nose forcefully as we exhale, not very forcefully, just energetically. And then we inhale again through the nose. So it's all through the nose. Now, you might naturally feel Mula Bandha or Uddiyana Bandha engaging as you do this. And so if you do feel that happen naturally, that's great. But you don't have to try to do it. Sometimes it just happens on its own. Okay, here we go. Round 2. Like you're blowing your nose and then inhaling back in through the nose. Inhale. Begin. 10. Inhale comfortably. Exhale slowly. Inhale comfortably. Exhale slowly. Relax the breath for a moment. And then we will begin our final round. Inhale. And begin. Ten. Long inhale. A long exhale. Long inhale. A long exhale. And now just sit comfortably and breathe in a calm manner. Okay. So, as we breathe in smooth, even measure, it's calming for the nervous system. When we breathe in this quicker paced, but still rhythmic movement, it's energizing for the nervous system. The yogi said that this was massaging for the brain. This is why they called it Kapala, which means skull, and Bhati, which means to shine or to clean. According to the yogis, we would be, because the brain volume changes slightly with the respiration, that we're changing the volume of blood flow and oxygen flow going to the brain. And as we speed up this movement of blood and therefore oxygen and nutrients, it's cleansing for the brain and for the circulatory flows that are going there. Now, I don't know if medical science, Western medical science, agrees with this or not, but this is what the yogis would say. And you can feel indeed that this breathing practice is energizing for the brain, energizing for the nervous system. But the thing is it's not erratic breathing. We still are following a very clear rhythm. And so that rhythm is important for maintaining the integrity of the spine and posture, meaning maintaining the integrity of the messaging and signaling sent through the respiratory centers and through the nervous system. So you can increase the amount of pumpings that you do. We did 10, you can do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 even. But as soon as you get tired, that's when you stop, because you don't want to lose the integrity of the rhythm. We are rhythmic beings. We're founded on patterns. And so we want to keep these patterns harmonious. Okay. So let's now move on to the alternate nostril breathing. Again, any questions you have, please save them for the Q&A at the end, because I see some questions going through in the chat now, but I might not be able to find them again once we finish. So we're on our last practice, and then we'll take questions, okay? So please inhale through both nostrils. Close your right nostril with your right thumb and exhale out through your left. And just inhale in through your left. Exhale out through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale left. Inhale left. And exhale left. Release the hand down to the knee. Breathe through both nostrils. Now we're going to take the ring finger of your right hand. Inhale through both nostrils. Put your ring finger on your left nostril and exhale out through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale right. 2 more. Inhale right. Exhale right. Inhale right. And exhale through the right. And now please rest your hand on your knee and breathe. Now we're going to breathe back and forth through both sides of the nostrils. So what we were doing with our fingers, if you just put your ring finger and your thumb together for a moment, the ring finger and the thumb, this is the position of our hands as it holds the nostrils. So this is all you need to know for this particular mudra. So inhale through both nostrils, please. Place your thumb on your right nostril and exhale out through the left. And then inhale through your left side. Close your ring finger down, lift your thumb, exhale through the right. Inhale through your right. Change and exhale through the left. Inhale through your left. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale through the left. Inhale left. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale right. Do this a couple more times. Inhale right. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale left. Notice how the mudra naturally relaxes. Inhale left. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale right. Last one. Inhale right. Do Ashwini mudra. Exhale left. Relax a hand on the knee. We'll breathe 3 times slowly. Extending the exhalation a little bit longer than your inhalation. Let the inhalation naturally flow in. And extend slowly your exhalation. Let the inhalation naturally flow in. Begin the exhalation and then extend your exhalation. Relax and breathe comfortably for a moment. sitting in a meditative state for a moment. Okay, and then let's open the eyes. Okay, so that's our practice for this week. It is written down in the description section of the YouTube video. So you can practice this for the next week if you'd like to, and see how it goes. So I'll take some of the questions now. So let's see what we have. Okay, so Diana, if your abdomen wants to do the opposite, what you can do is just rest your hand on the belly, and as you exhale, give a light pressure on your belly to help push the belly just gently, gently, slightly in. And then when you inhale, push the belly a little out into your hands. And you can do this lying on your back or leaning against a wall in a very, very comfortable way. And sometimes our nervous system patterns get reversed. So that's basically what you can try to do. Okay, but do it gently. All of these breathing practices need to be done really gently. No forcing at all. Deborah and Deepak, you can watch the whole series by going into the Chopra channel and go into the section that says videos, and then you can find all of the conscious breath videos. And this is the 8th one so far. Okay, what other questions do we have? What is my name? My name is Eddie Stern. That was an easy question. Brenda, some medical resources say not to hold the breath if you have high blood pressure and heart disease. However, medicine has different approaches. Yes, so you don't want to hold your breath for long periods of time. If you just pause the breath slightly, that's probably okay, but you don't want to hold for long periods of time. And also when you're pausing with the breath and you do something like Ashwini mudra, it helps to balance out a little bit the pressure that sometimes occurs with the heart. So the internal practices are very important along with breathing when it comes to anything like heart disease. But again, always check with your doctor. Don't do anything which causes stress. Okay. Okay, and one more time, Julia wants me to explain the Ashwini mudra. So Ashwini mudra is the tightening and releasing of the anal sphincter. We have a external anal sphincter, which is Ashwini mudra, and an internal anal sphincter, which is something called Mula Bandha when we contract it. So Ashwini mudra, we are squeezing and releasing, and that's all Ashwini mudra is. And it's to begin to train us to learn how to do the sustained contraction of Mula Bandha. And both of those practices are strengthening for the muscles of the pelvic floor region and also balancing for the Apana Vayu, which is the prana which controls the removal of waste associated with also the exhalation. So not just downward moving things. And Stephen, the purpose of doing the mudra with the alternate nostril breathing is that little by little we want to learn how to incorporate the mudras into pranayama, because the mudras and bandhas are a key part of pranayama practices. So now we're entering into this next stage of the fullness of the pranayama practices. And that way we're controlling prana and apana as we breathe and gradually bringing them together. So the word, if many of you have heard of Hatha Yoga, Hatha, Ha and Ta, is referring to the Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi, or the sun and the moon energy, or the inhalation and exhalation, which are part of prana and apana. And so in Hatha Yoga, we're trying to merge Ha and Ta, sun and moon, prana and apana, join them together so that our awareness moves into the central column of the body. And at that point, when the awareness and our energy flows move inwardly, then we don't need to breathe air, but we remain in a suspended a suspended state. So the breath is not coming and going, but we're only breathing internally in the spinal column. And so this would be where our respiratory pacemakers take care of our breathing without oxygen needing to come in or go out. So this is a very sort of final practice of yoga, but that's where all the yoga practices are going. Because as we know, one of the meanings of yoga means union. In Hatha Yoga, the union is prana and apana, so that we move into a transcendent or breathless state. And this is what is taught in the texts. I myself have not experienced it, but this is what is taught in the texts. Ashwini mudra can potentially help with digestive issues. And Natalie, breathing practices help with spiritual growth because when we begin to breathe in very conscious, directed manners, the mind begins to quiet and our awareness moves inwardly. So this is basically why pranayama and regulated breathing helps with our spiritual growth. Prana and mind are said to be the same thing in the yogic traditions. So when the breath moves, the mind moves. When the breath is still, the mind is still. When the mind is still, our awareness moves inward. When our awareness moves inward, then our identity becomes fixed within us, within our own being, rather than measuring ourselves by all the different things that we see in the world. Whether that might be measuring ourselves by people we admire or that we wish to be, whether we are comparing or judging or criticizing ourselves. A lot of the ways that we measure ourselves are by how society dictates. But yoga says, don't measure yourself by how society dictates or by the people who you see who you think you want to be like, or the people you see that you think you don't want to be like, or the political systems that you're against, or the philosophies that you don't agree with. That's all external identification. The highest identity is to identify with ourselves as pure being, as consciousness, as pure undifferentiated awareness. And so we can only rest in that identification when the mind becomes quiet. Because when the mind is filled with thoughts, we identify with thoughts. And then when the mind is quiet and the thoughts subside, we identify with the watcher or the seer of thoughts. And that is consciousness itself. Okay, so that's all we have time for today. And the last question, is this the same as Kegel exercises? It's very similar to Kegel exercises, but with a slightly different intention. That is to have an interoceptive sense of how we control our internal energy. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining. Again, you can see the practices that are listed in the description. You can do those for the next week. You can go to The Chopra Well on YouTube to see the complete series and many other videos as well. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Om, peace, peace, peace.